topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Powerful Business Strategies, where you will find out that everything you have ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Finally, a show where you'll learn the right way to grow your business by learning business and financial strategies that your competition isn't doing. And now, here is your host, President of Next Step CFO, Michael Barbarita. And joining Michael for today's show as an executive moderator is Chucky Obia.
Welcome to Powerful Business Strategies. My name is Michael Barbarita, President of Next Step CFO, and Next Step CFO is a fractional CFO and strategic implementation firm. And our vision is to ensure overwhelmed business owners achieve the time freedom and consistent profits to build a legacy and the life they desire. Our mission is dedicated to guiding small business owners to leveraging their time, exploding their profits, and building a meaningful legacy. And the show Powerful Business Strategies and our book of the same name is a step toward accomplishing that vision and mission. And just to also point out that Chucky and I are both affiliated with a number of different organizations. Chucky currently serves as the Managing Director of Business Development for Better Price, a global business-focused law firm. In addition to that, Chucky and I collaborate to moderate business roundtables around the country and around the world and document those insights as part of our book, Powerful Business Strategies. But please note that the views expressed on this show are personal views based on our own successful experiences. And our moderator for the show today, Chucky Obia, will be joining us a little later on. But you know what amazes me? Is that every morning, thousands of entrepreneurs like you wake up, step into their businesses, and make magic happen. You're the dreamers and the risk takers, the ones who saw something missing in the world and said, you know what, I can fix that. Maybe today wasn't perfect. Maybe you hit some roadblocks. Maybe you're wondering if it's all worth it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not just running a business, you're building a legacy. Every challenge you overcome, every problem you solve, every customer you help, that's your mark on the world. So get ready, because in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to share concepts on how to go about automating systems in your business. And so let's make some magic happen. But before I do, also, I think I already mentioned it, that Chucky will be joining us a little later on. But did you know that most businesses waste 40% of their productive time on tasks that could be automated? Think about that. Nearly half of your workday is spent doing things that a simple system, an automated system, could handle. But here's what's fascinating. The most successful companies aren't the ones with the biggest technology budgets to be able to put these systems in place. They're the ones who understand the science of practical automation. And over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to share some specific strategies that have helped businesses reduce their workload by 50% or more using what I call smart systems automation. And I'll show you exactly how one business went from working 70 hours a week, actually one business owner, to a 40-hour week, while increasing their profits by 85% using automation tools that cost less than $100 a month. And I'm going to reveal what I call the automation advantage formula, a systematic way to identify and automate the right processes without getting overwhelmed by technology, by the way. And the best part, once you understand this formula, you can apply it to any part of your business. So grab a pen and paper, because I'm about to share with you some strategies that will completely change how you think about running your business. And if you're driving, don't worry about it. You can catch the episode again on our podcast located at powerfulbusinessstrategies.com. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about practical automation, and I promised to show you exactly how to do it. And you know, a couple of shows ago, we talked about something we have been talking about actually a few times, and the mnemonic is called AIDCO, AIDCO. And when you need something done, think of AIDCO, think of AIDCO, and the A stands for automate. Look to automate the task, and that's what we're going to talk about today, for example. I for innovate. Find a way to create the to complete the task, and a creative way to complete the task. D for delegate. Delegate the task to an employee. Or C for cancel or eliminate the task if it's unimportant. And finally, O for outsource the task to a subcontractor. You know, if you combine focusing on the 7-step pathway to profit formula that we talked about in an earlier show, and you go back to listen to it, in conjunction with AIDCO, you will finally get your time back. But in the meantime, let me tell you about Bob, who runs a successful contracting business. And like most contractors, he was drowning in estimates. He was drowning in follow-ups that he had to make and scheduling. He was working 70 hours a week just to keep up. And then he implemented this thing he called the essential automation stack. And the first thing he did, and by the way, this is so critical. This is if you don't do this, a lot of your automation attempts will fail. He first did what he called a time drain audit. And for 1 week, Bob logged every single task that he did in a Google spreadsheet. And here's what he discovered. And if you miss this critical step, you're in real trouble in terms of implementing any of these strategies related to automation. But what Bob discovered is that he was spending 15 hours writing estimates, spending 12 hours on follow-up calls, spending 8 hours on scheduling, spending 10 hours on invoice processing, and 6 hours on basic customer questions. Now, here's how he went about actually automating this process. First, for estimates and scheduling, he set up what is called JotForm. It's an automation process for estimates and for estimate requests. He integrated Calendly for appointments, and he connected both of those to active campaigns. Now, when someone requested an estimate, JotForm collected all the project details automatically. Calendly showed only available time slots, and active campaigns sent confirmation emails and reminders. Now, for customer communication, he implemented active campaigns for email automation. He set up a service called ManyChat for Facebook messages, and he used Zapier to connect to everything. The system automatically set estimate follow-ups, provided project updates, requested reviews after completion, and handled basic customer questions. And for project management, he implemented Trello for job tracking, and it's my understanding that's a free service, by the way, at least what he needed it for. He connected it to Slack for team communication, and he added the mobile punch app for time tracking. And when a job is booked, Trello automatically creates a project board, assigns tasks to team members, sends notifications through Slack, and tracks time and materials. And for financial processing, he obviously set up QuickBooks Online. He added Square for payments, and he connected them all through Zapier. And when a job is complete, the invoice generates automatically, the payment link goes to the customer, the books update in real time, and follow-ups happen automatically. So with just a few inexpensive systems, Bob was able to take administrative time from 50 hours to 12 per week. And total cost of the automation was $168 a month. His return on investment was over 500% when you consider the value of his time. And let me show you another example that proves that this works in any industry. So Sarah runs a real estate agency, and she implemented this exact automation stack. So for lead capturing and nurturing, she used MailChimp for email, excuse me. She used MailChimp for email marketing, Facebook lead ads connected to Zapier, and active campaigns for follow-up sequences. For property management, she used a tool called Property Base for listings, Showing Time for scheduling, and DocuSign for contracts. And for client communication, she used a tool called BombBomb for video emails, Text Expander for quick responses, and Calendly for appointments. Her time spent on routine tasks dropped from 30 hours to 8 hours a week, and her conversion rate increased by 40% because nothing fell through the cracks. Now, let me show you something even more powerful about automation tools that most business owners completely miss. So a medical practice that was struggling with patient scheduling and follow-ups, here's exactly what they implemented. So for scheduling, they used a tool called Next Health. This is for patient bookings. And what Next Health did is it was an online scheduling portal. It text message reminders, two-way text confirmation, insurance verification, and wait list management. But here's the key. They integrated it with MailChimp for email communications, RingCentral for phone systems, and Zapier to connect to everything. And so the system now automatically sends appointment reminders via text 3 days before, email prep instructions 2 days before, requests confirmations 24 hours before, alerts staff of cancellations, and contacts waitlist patients when slots open up. And for patient records and communication, they use a tool called Dr. Chrono. And that provided them a way to automate digital intake forms, lab result discovery, prescription management, patient portal access, and automated billing. And the results is they were able to reduce no-shows by 80%, and they saved 25 hours per week in staff time. But here's what's really interesting. Patient satisfaction scores increased because communication was consistent and professional, and they didn't miss anything. The total monthly technology cost that I went through there was about $500 a month, but they saved over $3,000 in staff time and increased revenue by $15,000 a month through better scheduling efficiency versus when a human would do it. So before we continue the rest of this discussion on automation, we're going to take a 90-second break.
Hey there, business owners. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of blending in with your competitors? Frustrated with slow growth and slim margins? Well, I've got news for you. Everything you've ever learned about growing your business is wrong. But don't worry. I'm here to let you in on a secret weapon, your position of market dominance. It's what sets you apart, makes you irreplaceable, and has customers lining up at your door. My name is Michael Barbarita from Next Step CFO. I know what you're thinking. Sounds great, Michael, but how do I find my position of market dominance? Well, that's exactly why we've created our game-changing implementation program called Next Step to Market Dominance. In just 90 days, we'll guide you step by step to a position of market dominance by uncovering your unique strengths that competitors can't touch, by crafting a message that resonates deeply with your ideal customer, by building a strategy that turns you into the go-to expert in your field. Now, this isn't theory. These are battle-tested strategies that have helped businesses like yours double, triple, and quadruple their revenue. Don't let another quarter go by struggling to stand out. It's time to dominate your market, period. Go to nextstepcfo.net/contact, fill out the form, and in the message section, put the word dominate. Or call us at 781-326-3822. That's nextstepcfo.net/contact, or call us at 781-326-3822.
Michael, how are you?
Juki, how are you? How you doing?
I am doing well. It's really energizing to join you for the second segment.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming. And welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, we're talking about practical automation tools. And I'm going to show you exactly how to automate your customer experience. So let me introduce to you the customer experience automation stack. This is the exact set of tools used by an HVAC company that automated their customer service while reducing their workload by 60%. And here's what they implemented.
Michael,
let's we're gonna
leave the audience in suspense a little bit on this. Yeah, because I think they're really excited to get into the detail of that insight. But a quick question for you. So we are getting some nice comments from listeners, business owners, really coast to coast that are listening. So here's a question. Specific to automation, Michael, how do you advise business owners to first map out their process? So there's some folks that are saying, well, how do I automate when I don't know, or at least I don't have the best appreciation of my process? So what do you say to that?
Yeah, well, step one is to write out the existing process.
Nice.
See, it's just like earlier in the show, I talked about how a business owner themselves have to log their activity for 1 week. Same thing here, except this time what we're doing is we're logging the actual process as it is today and see where some of these tools that we're talking about today can fit in and automate that process. And so some of these tools that we're talking about I'm repeating, like Calendly and utilizing that, or Zapier, utilizing that, Active Campaigns, utilizing that. So a lot of these tools, some of these tools are industry specific. Like I think I mentioned, there was a tool for the real estate industry, but and you can look at your individual industry and see what tools are available. But you'll be shocked at the minimal cost that it is to automate something that just saves leverages time tremendously and saves an inordinate amount of time.
Exactly. And Michael, just to pick up on that point, right? So you mentioned the 8-code technique, right? Which the A is for automation. So right. if that's the season, right? So automation is the season. Would you say the pre-season is mapping out your process before you get to the automation?
Yeah, you have to do that, because what'll happen is if you don't map out the existing process, you'll pick the wrong tools for automation, and you'll complicate the process instead of enhancing it.
Great point, Michael. Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. So back to this HVAC company that automated their customer service while reducing their workload by 60%. And what they implemented, first of all, for customer communications, they implemented a tool called Service Titan. And what Service Titan did is it automated dispatch, it provided GPS tracking, digital invoicing, customer notifications, and photo documentation. And those customer notifications was when they were going to arrive. And then they used a tool called Podium for text message updates, for reviewing requests from customers, payment processing, customer chatting, and team messaging. And then he connected these with Active Campaigns, so there would be automated follow-up sequences of email, maintenance reminders, seasonal promotions, customer surveys, and birthday greetings. So he was able to utilize Active Campaigns to, on an automated basis, send happy birthday greetings. And here's exactly how the automation worked. When a customer called, RingCentral would route them to the right person. Service Titan would create the service ticket. The technician gets dispatched automatically. Customer receives text with the text photo and estimated time of arrival, and then a GPS tracking sends arrival alerts. So the GPS tracking gets sent to the customer so that they can track when the tech will be there.
Interesting.
During service, actually during the actual mechanics of the work, the tech uses Service Titan mobile app to document the problem with photos, create digital estimates, get approval signatures, process payments, and schedule the follow-up maintenance. And then after the service, the Podium app automatically requests reviews from customers. Active Campaign sends out a satisfaction survey. Service Titan schedules the maintenance reminders, and QuickBooks updates automatically through integration of all these tools. So the results was that the customer satisfaction jumped from 72% to 94%, and the team saved 25 hours a week with a total technology cost of just under $500 per month. But revenue also increased by $4,000 monthly because of the better efficiency. And just think about this too, the scheduling efficiency. When you're scheduling more efficiently, you're able to take on more jobs in the case of HVAC company. So now let me share an example using the same tools, this time in a different industry, trying to show and demonstrate how all these different industries, there are tools available for them to use to be able to automate. So this is a dental practice. And what they did, for front office automation, they used a tool called Curve Dental. And what Curve Dental did is it did patient scheduling, insurance verification, treatment planning, digital charting, and billing management. Then they used a tool called Weave, W-E-A-V-E, where they were able to utilize two-way texting, missed call texts, appointment reminders, review management, and team chatting. Then they used a tool called Local Med. This was for online scheduling, insurance integration, treatment matching, and availability management, along with a patient portal. Their patient retention increased by 45%, and their staff saved 20 hours a week on administrative tasks. And what ended up happening is their referrals doubled because the automation made patients feel more cared for, not less. You might think the automation would be something that would make the patients feel less cared for. But in fact, it turned out to be that they were more cared for, or at least they felt that way. And let me show you what a restaurant did to improve the customer experience and how they automated it. They transformed their entire operation using what they call the Smart Service Stack. And here's what they implemented. For reservations and seating, they used OpenTable, which is a common app. Included online reservations, table management, guest profiles, waitlist control, SMS notifications. They integrated that with a tool called 7 Rooms, which enhanced customer relationship management, automated the marketing, automated general marketing for the restaurant, and then special occasion tracking, VIP guest alerts. So you could sign up for VIP, VIP. You'd have to pay a little bit more, but you could sign up for VIP guest alerts, and then preference logging. And for order management, they used a tool called Toast POS. And in that tool was digital ordering, a kitchen display system, inventory tracking, labor management, and real-time reporting. And it was all connected to a tool called Margin Edge, which had recipe costing. This was kind of a back office tool, had recipe costing, inventory control, vendor price tracking, purchase ordering, and waste management. And the system automatically sends reservation confirmations, alerts staff about allergies and preferences. So customer allergies like lactose intolerance
Mhm.
and preferences, they might want to add certain sides to their order. And it tracks table turnover, manages kitchen timing, and monitors food costs. And this was all automated, and the results were that the table turnover improved by 30%, food costs decreased by 4%,
Interesting.
and labor costs dropped by 8% because everything was more efficient. And their reviews improved because service became more consistent, and the perception was it was more personalized, even though it was automated. And their total technology cost was about $800 a month, but they increased profit by $5,000 a month through better efficiency and increased table turns. So before we continue to the next segment and continue our discussion, we'd like to take this 90-second break.
Hey there, business owners. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of blending in with your competitors? Frustrated with slow growth and slim margins? Well, I've got news for you. Everything you've ever learned about growing your business is wrong. But don't worry. I'm here to let you in on a secret weapon, your position of market dominance. It's what sets you apart, makes you irreplaceable, and has customers lining up at your door. My name is Michael Barbarita from Next Step CFO. I know what you're thinking. Sounds great, Michael, but how do I find my position of market dominance? Well, that's exactly why we've created our game-changing implementation program called Next Step to Market Dominance. In just 90 days, we'll guide you step by step to a position of market dominance by uncovering your unique strengths that competitors can't touch, by crafting a message that resonates deeply with your ideal customer, by building a strategy that turns you into the go-to expert in your field. Now, this isn't theory. These are battle-tested strategies that have helped businesses like yours double, triple, and quadruple their revenue. Don't let another quarter go by struggling to stand out. It's time to dominate your market, period. Go to nextstepcfo.net/contact, fill out the form, and in the message section, put the word dominate. Or call us at 781-326-3822. That's nextstepcfo.net/contact, or call us at 781-326-3822.
So welcome back to Powerful Business Strategies. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about practical automation tools. And now I want to show you what I call the profit automation stack. This is the exact tools that directly increases your bottom line. And so let me tell you about a guy named Mike who runs a successful manufacturing company. And he implemented this specific automation suite.
Brilliant.
So,
and Michael,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
we're going to keep them in suspense before we jump into that. It's interesting that you save all the best examples for people named Mike and Michael. How about that?
I know. How do you like that, huh?
the smartest people in the world are named Mike or Michael. I love it.
Well, I don't know that, but
you go through some great insights here on these automation principles. We've talked about mapping your existing process. We've talked about looking for technology solutions within your industry and making sure that they could sort of drive efficiencies that way. One of the questions, and this is from listeners really coast to coast, this idea of cross-industry application. So you've touched on a number of different types of industries. Now, here's a question. These automation principles would apply both to products as well as to services, correct?
Yes. Like, I'm about to talk about a manufacturing company who manufactures products. So it definitely applies. No question, it applies to both. It applies to anything, Chucky. It applies to distribution. It applies to retail, manufacturing, service organizations. And near the end of this segment, or at the end of this particular segment, I am going to try to summarize for everyone what steps they should take if they're looking to automate.
Great.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. But as I said, Mike runs a successful manufacturing company, and he implemented this specific automation suite. So for the production management, he did he used a tool called fishbowl manufacturing. And what that did is it tracked inventory, it provided production scheduling, it provided material requirements planning, sometimes called MRP, order management, and quality control. And he connected that system to a tool called Sensor Tracks. And what Sensor Tracks did is it did real-time machine monitoring of the machines used in production analysis, quality tracking, downtime analysis, and maintenance alerts. And for the supply chain component of his business, he used a tool called Trade Gecko. And what that did is it automated the purchasing, the supplier management. This is more of an inventory receipt type of program, reorder points, price tracking, and multi-warehouse management. And this was all integrated with QuickBooks for automated invoicing, cost tracking, financial reporting, payroll processing, and vendor payments. And here's how the automation worked in practice. So when inventory hits a reorder point, the Trade Gecko app automatically generates a purchase order, compares supplier prices, sends orders to approved vendors, updates accounting in QuickBooks, and tracks shipping status. For production, that Sensor Tracks app monitors machines in real time, alerts maintenance before breakdowns. So when things are starting to go slower, it alerts maintenance, tracks production speeds. That's how it knows to notify maintenance if those production speeds start to reduce. Monitors quality metrics, reports efficiency data, and predicts maintenance needs. And then Fishbowl automatically schedules production runs, allocates materials, updates the inventory, tracks labor cost, and calculates actual versus standard cost for variance reporting. And the results were that inventory costs dropped by 40%, production efficiency increased by 35%, and profit margins grew by 25%. And the total technology investment was about $1,200 per month, but they saved over 15 grand monthly in reduced waste and improved efficiency. So once again, that A and AIDCO, this is what this show is about. It's automating your processes.
Yeah.
And I'm naming some tools that are out there for some of the business owners, obviously not everybody,
Yeah.
but and some of the tools are as generic as QuickBooks. Some of the tools are as generic as Zapier. Some of the tools are as generic as Active Campaigns.
It's really interesting. And Michael, look, let's pause here and take just a couple of questions.
Sure.
Exactly to your point about the different tools that you're naming. So one of the questions that's come up is, should the business owner demo the solution, the tool, before they implement it? And if so, how would you advise a business owner to approach that sort of demo exercise?
Well, one thing I wouldn't do is buy all the tools at once.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I would buy them one at a time to test them. That way, you've got one process automated before you integrate the second process.
It's very practical advice. Yep.
Now, the salespeople will tell you something different, of course.
Yeah.
But because if you can negotiate demos, of which trial periods, it's really called, then you'll be in better stead. And then I would recommend to get them all at once. You're able to at that point, because you're demoing everything, and you're not paying for it, or at least you're not committed to pay for it.
Exactly.
That would be a great negotiation tool. But if barring that, because some of them don't do that, barring that, I would try one tool at a time. Get that working, then go work on the next integration.
Go on to the next one. And then last question, just in this sort of phase of the show, again, based on feedback from business owners, this idea of calculating ROI. So in all the examples that you've discussed, Michael, you've had an ROI calculation. Does the business owner, as part of the trial period, maybe, or maybe as they sort of onboard their team on a new solution, how should they think of approaching the ROI, return on investment calculation?
Well, number one, they should understand what their standard labor cost is. In other words, average labor cost. I shouldn't say standard, but average labor cost. So if they know what that is, and they're able, they should be able to track, and their employees can give them feedback of how much time savings that they've had as a result of this. Now, some of that and the efficiency savings. What happens is that once these systems are implemented, you need to kind of have, weekly staff meetings to be able to understand what are the problems with the implementation, to understand where are the benefits. Do you see the benefits? Sometimes there's downside. There's certain employees that'll say, this part is taking me longer.
Yeah.
Well, that has to be straightened out, obviously. So it's never any. I'll say this: it's never. I don't care what systems you're implementing, what automation you're implementing. It's never fun the first couple of weeks. Never.
Yeah.
Never. It's really hard on the business to implement these things. Sometimes it pays to come in a little earlier on these implement days and have the staff come in and pay the overtime and all that, because it will get them. They'll be slower the first couple of weeks. There's no question about it, because they're getting used to the systematic part of the automation. But over time, there's nothing like it. And you got to bite the bullet. And anytime I have recommended systems like this to clients, I definitely get cursed on the first 3 to 4 weeks. There's no question about it. But after that, they see the benefit.
Correct.
And in terms of calculating ROI, you have to consider all the time savings. You have to consider the opportunity cost, the opportunity benefits, actually, because what did you do with that extra time? Did you turn over more volume? In the case of the restaurant, that's exactly what happened. They turned over more volume. In the case of the manufacturing company, they ended up producing more in a shorter period of time. So all these benefits have to be calculated in terms of determining return on investment. I wish that formula was simple, but there's things like opportunity cost that makes it a little bit more subjective.
Correct. Yeah, very helpful context, Michael. Thank you.
Okay. So let me show you another example using simpler tools for a smaller business. So here's what a retail store did. So for inventory, they used Shopify POS. It had sales tracking, inventory management, customer profiles, staff performance, and that's sales staff performance, and multi-location control. And it connected to a tool called Switch Labs, which was automated reordering, demand forecasting, channel management, purchase order verification, or I should say automation, purchase order automation, and vendor management. For marketing, they plugged in a tool called Klaviyo. I've never been able to pronounce that. A couple of my clients have that tool, and of course I can't pronounce it right. But it's Klaviyo, and it automated the email campaigns. It provided customer segmentation between different groups of customers. It also identified where there was abandoned carts. Product recommendations and purchase analysis. And so let me show you something also about some more profit automation tools for a landscaping company that completely automated their operation using the field service office automation stack. And here's exactly what they implemented. So for job management, they used a tool called Jobber. By the way, a client of mine just started using, loves it. He integrated it with Company Cam, another tool that was integrated into Jobber, and Company Cam was able to. Oh, by the way, Job Tracker, Jobber. I'm sorry, Jobber provided route optimization, GPS tracking, digital quotes, scheduling, and time tracking. It also does estimates. Also does estimates, by the way. I know that from personal experience. And it was integrated with Company Cam, which was before and after photos of the job, which is unbelievable.
Nice.
Project documentation, team communication, and client updates, along with quality control. And for equipment management, they used a tool called Manager Plus, which was maintenance scheduling, equipment tracking, cost monitoring, service history, and parts inventory. And then that was all connected to a tool called Fleet Shop, which is a GPS system for real-time vehicle tracking, fuel monitoring, driver behavior, route optimization, and service verification. Once again, here, the total technology cost was about $500, but they saved about $3,000 in operational cost and increased revenue by $8,000 through better efficiency. And most importantly, all these tools paid for themselves in the first month through fuel savings alone. And so let me explain exactly. At the beginning of the show, I talked about smart automation systems and the automation advantage formula. And these are frameworks, like I said, I talked about at the top of the show, that make all these tools work together effectively. So what I mean by smart system automation, that has 4 key components. The components are trigger points, and I'll go through those, action sequences, checkpoints, and completion loops. So the trigger points are specific events that start an automated process. For example, this is what I was talking about earlier, identifying your current system. You know, a new lead fills out a form. A customer books an appointment. Inventory hits reorder levels. A project reaches a milestone, and a payment becomes due. These are all trigger points and specific events that start an automation process. So it gets you thinking, right? You know, somebody has to fill out the lead form, the customer. The customer books an appointment. That all can get automated, but these are the trigger points. Action sequences. So each trigger initiates a series of automated actions using specific tools. Calendly schedules the appointment. Active Campaign sends the confirmation. Zapier updates the CRM. QuickBooks generates an invoice. Slack notifies the team. So there's the trigger points, and then the action sequences for each of the trigger points. Then there's the checkpoint. These are verification points where the system either continues the automation, flags for human review, triggers alternate sequences, updates relevant databases, and generates status reports. And then these completion loops, this is the 4th phase. These ensure nothing falls through the cracks by confirming all these steps are completed, updating all connected systems, notifying relevant team members, documenting the process, and starting follow-up sequences. So that system, right, this helps the business owner understand how to go about the automation. It's called Smart Systems Automation. Then there's this other tool called the Automation Advantage Formula. And this is how you decide how to automate in the first place. The time impact multiplied times frequency times an error rate gives you an automation priority score. So for each task, you rate on a scale of 1 to 5. Time impact, how long did the process take on a manual basis? 2, frequency, how often does it happen? 3, error rate, how often mistakes occur? And the highest score indicates your first automation target. So for example, your appointment scheduling your time impact was 4 on a scale of 1 to 5.
Mhm.
Your frequency was 5, and your error rate was 3. That equals 60. So appointment scheduling, that's a pretty high score. So appointment scheduling would be one of the first things that you automate. And so this formula helps you identify where automation will have the biggest immediate impact on your business. Shuki, I think it's time for compliments.
Great. Really energized by the business compliments segment today. So we have 4 business owners coast to coast that we want to spotlight. The first is Zach Payne with Icon Roofing. Zach Payne created Icon Roofing after working for other roofing contractors in the Metro Phoenix area for 10 years, so a decade of experience. And then he leveraged that and realized that there was just a better way to serve customers looking for roofing company services, particularly to have those services be professional. So he developed the Icon Way, which is a customer-centric way to repair and replace roofs. And it ensures every project includes 4 principles: competitive pricing, quality materials, a satisfaction guarantee, and warranties on materials and craftsmanship. So you can check out more at iconroofingaz.com. Please note that they are a GAF Master Elite certified roofing contractor. The next business owner to spotlight is Mark Rogers with Frame Destination. They are a leading online custom picture frame supply and accessories retail manufacturer. So it's an end-to-end commitment to your picture frame needs. And part of what they do, it's kind of interesting, Michael. Mark and team, they help photographers, painters, and graphic designers get their printed images framed to really showcase their talents. You can check out more at framedestination.com. The next business owner is Alina Zerpa. She's a founder and CEO of A to Z Social Agency. And Michael, they are on a mission, right? They are on a mission to weave together compelling narratives for businesses and brands, and then establish not just customers, but to establish customers for life with an authentic online experience. So you sort of create this online family as it relates to your customers and your clients. And Alina and team can help with that. And then the last business owner to spotlight in today's segment is Eric Zapata with HTX Junkaholics. They are a small business junkyard removal company based in Texas. And here's what customers love about Eric and team, that they can reach out to Eric and team for safety and efficiency in completing projects in a fast-paced way. And again, look, junk removal is hard work, right? And Eric and team approach that work with a service mindset, and they are locally owned and fully insured. Those are the compliments for this week. Michael, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Chuki. Appreciate that. Just want to review again that automated advantage formula before we leave.
Yes.
Once again, it's how you decide what to automate first. So you have time impact times frequency times error rate, and that equals your automation priority score. So this is the determination of what you automate first. And so for each task, for time impact, frequency, and error rate, it's a 1 to 5 scale where, for example, on time impact, 1 means you do it very fast, where 5 means it's exceedingly slow. So that, and then frequency, how often it happens. If it doesn't happen that very often, it's a 1. But if it happens a lot, then you give it a 5. So once again, when you multiply out those 3 scores, the higher score represents where you automate first. And so to get a copy of the book, Powerful Business Strategy, simply go to our website, www.nextstepcfo.net. It's totally complimentary. And until next Monday at noon Eastern Time, for Chuki Obio, my name is Michael Barbarita, and remember, don't keep doing what your competition is doing.
You have been listening to Powerful Business Strategies, finding out that everything you ever learned about growing your business is wrong. Tune in next week and every week at noon Eastern Time on W4CY Radio with your host, Michael Barbarita of Next Step CFO and moderator Chucky Obio.